What's going on, everyone? We're going to get into a unique show today as myself and Steelers Talk host Tom Downey will be debating which AFC North team will be better in 2022. So you know what? Like I always say, spam FPIT in the comments section if you're excited to watch the Browns sweep the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. Now enjoy today's debate.
Hello, friends. And Matthew, I am Tom Downey. We're doing something a little bit different today here. It's an NFL Daily Debate as we take a look at who will be better this year. The Pittsburgh Steelers, which I'm the host of Steelers Talk, and the Browns, with Matthew Peterson being the Browns Report host. Hello, Matthew.
Yeah, hey, what's up, Jim Nance?
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I would say, it's
like
good to be in the company of some gentlemen today, but I don't think we can apply that to you today because the Browns, they're going to dominate this debate.
Now, are you wearing number 32 for the number of Deshaun Watson accusations, or no?
Oh, that's really funny.
Yeah,
When'd you come up with that in your little joke machine?
About 5 seconds before we started.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, Browns legend Jim Brown today.
There you go. All right. Ooh, also maybe not the nicest guy. All right.
Wanna
Anyway,
talk about Big Ben?
it's fine. Before we get going, we'll go back and forth here in a friendly. I don't like PD. What two NFL teams should we debate next? We're doing Browns Steelers today. If you guys have ideas, let us know though in the comments section. We'll go kind of team by team, pros and cons here. I'm going to begin with the defensive side of things here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I believe pretty clearly, well, at least by a good enough margin, the Steelers' defense is better than what the Browns have. They have improved their interior defensive line, which was already pretty good. They added Larry Ogunjobi, a former Browns legend, of course. And if it's very difficult sometimes to properly identify who's actually better on defense. Expected points added. I know it's nerd stuff, and Matthew's not very good at math, but they had a better expected points added in 2021 on defense. That takes everything together, combines it all, and says, hey, this defense was better than the opposing defense, in this case, the Browns. They have a better pass rusher. No disrespect meant to Myles Garrett. He's awesome when he's not trying to murder opposing quarterbacks, but TJ Watt is a better player than Myles Garrett is. It's probably number 1 versus number 2, or 2 versus whatever order you want to go with there, but TJ Watt's better. And now you're adding a brilliant defensive mind in Brian Flores. I think that's an awesome idea. Key players on the Steelers defense, right? TJ Watt, Cameron Hayward, and I would argue Ogunjobi are significantly better than anybody on the Browns' interior defensive line, which I think maybe 15 people, non-Browns fans, could name a single player on that interior defensive line. You got a better safety to Minka Fitzpatrick. Miles Jack's going to have a big-time year. And Ahkello Witherspoon, although not a star, is a sneaky under-the-radar player. The defense is a big reason why I have faith in Pittsburgh this year, doing what they continue to do year over year, find ways to finish at least above 500. All right, Matthew, if you have comments, you can make them, I guess.
Yeah, I'm not going to stand up here and pretend like the Steel Curtain isn't a real thing or the Steelers don't have a good defense going into this year. But all in all, I think if you polled fans from all 32 NFL teams, they would take the Browns defense. Now, the big argument Tom made is TJ Watt's better than Myles Garrett. And they've got a better interior defensive line. And that's granted, right? I'm not going to stand up here and pretend like Jordan Elliott is the next Aaron Donald. But let's get some facts and numbers straight because you're a big numbers guy over here, Tom. Myles Garrett has played in fewer games than TJ Watt in their careers, and they average the same amount of sacks per game. In fact, Myles Garrett is only adding more sacks to his season total year after year. Finished with 16 last season. He's coming for 20, and he's going to surpass TJ Watt at the end of their careers. And he's got a better defense behind him, okay? The Browns have playmakers at every single level. You want to run the football? By all means, sure. The interior defensive line may not be filled with household names like Larry Ogunjobi, who only ended up in Pittsburgh because he failed a physical with Chicago, so I'm sure he's in the best shape of life going into this season. But in terms of running the football, fine, by all means. I dare you to put the ball on the ground and run it between Jadeveon Clowney, one of the best run-stopping defensive ends, and then Myles Garrett, Superman, Mr. Do-It-All. The size and strength don't make any sense. So if you want to test your luck against Jordan Elliott and Taven Bryan, knock yourself out because you know who's going to be right next to them, Garrett and Clowney. In terms of the second level, Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, if you don't know him now, you're going to know him by the end of the season. an absolute steal for the Browns out of Notre Dame in round 2 last season of the draft. JOK is one of the better inside linebackers in football. And then the secondary, honestly, the screen's not big enough to fit all the studs they have. Denzel Ward, Greg Newsome, Greedy Williams, for crying out loud, is a fringe CB3 on this team because that's how talented and loaded they are. You can't pick between Grant Delpit and John Johnson. This secondary is sneaky, sneaky good. It's got ball hawks all over the place. So if you're trying to pick between the Browns and the Steelers, yeah, you can take TJ Watt's higher sack total. But in terms of what this defense does at every single level, give me the Brownies every single day.
I'll continue to take the Steelers' defense. Interior presence matters a lot more in the modern-day NFL. Oh, by the way, T.J. Watt has also gotten better sack production every single year.
Right, and
So,
played in
like,
more games, so that's
yeah.
going to help.
I
But
mean-
also,
I
yeah,
mean, ability and
modern-day
availability
NFL.
matters.
You see teams run the football like they did before? No, teams are passing it
Yeah,
more. The
interior
Browns are
pressure.
investing in the secondary because that's the new generation of what defenses need to do.
You need
So
both.
build up your run defense because no one's running the football like they used to.
It's not run defense, it's interior pressure. Also, I'll take double the forced fumbles for Myles Garrett there. And clearly, Petey and I don't agree. So we'll let you guys finish it up here for us. Who is the better edge rusher? TJ for TJ Watt, MG for Myles Garrett. Sound off for me in the comment section. We'll move to offense now, and since I'll be nice to Petey, you can go first.
I was going to say, do your best right now to pump up Mitch Trubisky over Kenny Pickett or
Do
Mason
your best
Rudolph
to pump up
because
Jacoby Brissett.
you know what they say, if you've got 3 QBs, you've got none. So let's talk about the Browns offense because understandably so, it is not the most scary offense with Jacoby Brissett under center for the first 11 games of the season. But the Browns averaged more points per game last season, and all they've done to their offense is improve it. Can Pittsburgh say the same? I beg to differ. Jacoby Brissett is going to man the ship for a little bit until you get Deshaun Watson back, who, by the way, let's not forget, Steelers fans were drooling over until he ruled out Pittsburgh and went with Cleveland. But this Browns offense, like I said, only got better from last season by adding Amari Cooper for an absolute steal. 6th-round swap and give up a 5th for one of the better wide receivers in football, take it any day of the week. Nick Chubb, every single year, does not get the recognition he deserves. He is one of the best running backs in football, one of the hardest to bring down, and it's made life easy because of that awesome offensive line, which can Pittsburgh say the same? If they're not the 32nd best offensive line of football, they are the 31st. They have one of the worst run games in football. What has improved? Honestly, nothing has improved up front for them. They are sending Najee Harris on a kamikaze mission every time he gets the football. He is lucky to have his head on his shoulders when he gets back to the line of scrimmage, if he does. Meanwhile, the Browns, sure, Jacoby Brissett, not the sexiest backup or not the sexiest starting QB. But then again, is good old Mitch Trubisky all that much better? Or is Kenny Pickett, who was just picked because of how bad this QB class was? I don't think so. Give me the Browns offense 7 days a week.
Let's get into the Steelers offense here. I've got you said what got better? Didn't every part of the Steelers offense get better or at least is the same? You don't like Big Ben. I know that. You've never liked him for reasons that whatever. He was, to be blunt, bad last year.
Yeah.
He couldn't throw the football downfield. Pickett and Trubisky can. As weird as it sounds, I genuinely think that Trubisky and or Pickett are better quarterbacks in 2022 than Big Ben is. I mean, how many times on 3rd and 10 did Big Ben immediately check it down? You're killing drives from that standpoint. Not to mention, I think that Trubisky will be a better locker room guy than Deshaun Watson is because I got some valid concerns that haven't been brought up from that standpoint there. And Pickett was a first-round pick. Yes, it was a bad quarterback class, but the other quarterbacks went in the 3rd round. I think Pickett, clearly from the NFL standpoint, was better than that standpoint. They did invest more in the offensive line. They're banking on growth from Dan Moore. They signed James Daniels. They signed Mason Cole. They have Kevin Dotson healthy. The O-line was terrible last year. I don't think anyone with eyes would argue otherwise. But they are better this year on the offensive line, in part because there's nowhere to go but up. Now, look, there's the same running back there in Najee Harris, who I think we all know is really good. Much made, David Njoku for the Browns. Pat Freiermuth had better production than he did last year. He was a rookie. Imagine in year 2. And the receiving core, which, maybe Amari Cooper is better than Deontay Johnson from a number 1 standpoint, but Anthony Schwartz made this team, and he couldn't catch a cold if he was in a hospital for a month. He cannot catch anything. You're banking on Donovan Peoples-Jones, David Bell, and Michael Woods, and there are at least 10 people out there who think I made up those names. Chase Claypool, George Pickens, who was awesome in camp in the preseason, are way better playmakers than what the Browns have to offer. I don't think either of these offenses are going to be premier offenses when it's all said and done. And look, I wouldn't be shocked if the Browns in the end had a better offense than Pittsburgh, but not enough to make up for the better defense Pittsburgh has, and the other part we'll get to here in a little bit. They call that a tease when you're a professional, Matthew.
Yeah, absolutely. A professional like Ben Roethlisberger and all Steelers fans have been, who sure, throw your jabs at Watson, but don't throw stones if you live in a glass house. Don't act like Ben Roethlisberger has been a saint for Pittsburgh the last 2 decades.
Never said he was.
Yep, and don't act like Pittsburgh fans didn't want Deshaun Watson, and now they are just talking themselves into Mitch Trubisky, who's only a starting QB this year, just because of how bad this QB class was in the draft, and it was a good time to be a free agent if you're Mitch. But let's throw it to you guys here. I think the answer is obvious. Nick Chubb versus Najee Harris. Nick Chubb has one of the highest yards after contact. He's the only running back since Adrian Peterson to have 8 touchdowns in his first, 4 or 5 seasons at this point now. So let me know who you think the better running back is. NH for Harris or NC for my guy, Nick Chubb.
You can kind of bet on this, by the way. If you head over to BetUS, there are over-under numbers set for a wide variety of running backs, receivers, quarterbacks, AFC North odds, of which the Browns are well ahead of the Steelers from that standpoint. There's good value to be had, though, for Pittsburgh. Plus 850 to win the division, even though I don't think either of these teams end up winning the division. I think it's a race to make the postseason. Ravens are your betting favorite, then the Bengals, then the Browns, and the Steelers. Bet on the NFL. Bet on or against Pittsburgh and Cleveland at BetUS. It's chatsports.com/bet. Promo code NFL Daily. Let's move now to closing arguments, the final reasonings here. The number one reason why I am in on Pittsburgh being better than Cleveland is the coaching. And you look at what Mike Tomlin has done in his entire NFL career, it's absurd what he has done. I actually like Kevin Stefanski as a coach, as poorly as they handled overall the Baker Mayfield situation down the stretch last year. I like their coaching staff better overall with the addition of Brian Flores. Put this in perspective. Since Mike Tomlin joined the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2007 as head coach, the Steelers have never had a less than 500 season. The Browns have had 1, maybe 2 good years if we want to include some. They finished the year strong stuff. Historically speaking, it is by far the safer bet to go with Pittsburgh. It would require a significant outlier year for the Browns to catch Pittsburgh. If you want to be a gambler and bet on that, sure. But the safe bet, the smart bet, is that even though Pittsburgh's changing the offense and entering a little bit of a mini reset, they'll still be better than Cleveland. And no Deshaun Watson for the first 11 games is a significant impact from that standpoint. Might have been a different conversation had Deshaun been out there for the entire 17-game season.
Let me talk to you right now, the jury at home. What Tom just presented to us is a good argument.
You're such a nerd.
If the debate was who has been the better team since 2007. But that's not why we're here today. No, we are here today to talk about which team will be better this year. And yes, we all know Mike Tomlin has never gone below 500. He's also had Ben Roethlisberger be his starting quarterback since then. How will that change this year? The Browns just got to tread water. They just got to go 6-5, maybe even 5-6, but I think they'll be closer to 6-5 by the time Watson returns to the field. And let's not forget that they are getting the 2020 NFL passing leader when Deshaun Watson comes back onto this team. That features one of the best running back tandems in the NFL with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt if he needs to take some rust off in the first week or two, which will be easy against his old team, the Houston Texans. And yeah, Anthony Schwartz jabs, they're easy to make. Personally, I like making them too. But you know what's also easy to do? hand the football to the referee if you're Chase Claypool against the Vikings on Thursday Night Football with your postseason in the balance. But no, Chase Claypool decides, let me do a little TikTok dance right now. The Steelers are in, let me tell you right now, for a long, long season of defending Mitch Trubisky or making the argument to put out Kenny Pickett, or even a small percentage of the fans going, Mason Rudolph? Because that's how big of a roller coaster they are about to embark on. This is not your Six Flags roller coaster. No, this is one of those roller coasters that's from a park that's been shut down for 20 years because of safety concerns. That is how bad it's going to be when Mitch starts to look like Mitch. Pickett looks like a rookie who was only picked in the first round because this QB class was ass this year, and Mason Rudolph is just happy to have checks coming his way. The Browns will be better because their roster is better from top to bottom, and we are not arguing who has been the better team the last 15 or so years. We are looking at 2022. And you know what? The Steelers may have had, without a doubt, a better stretch over that period of time. But now, like Herb Brooks said, their time is done. It's over. This is your time now, Cleveland. So go out there and take it.
Spent a lot of time playing on that final closing argument, didn't you?
I watched Miracle last night. I'm not going to lie.
All right, so you guys decide for us then in the end which team will have the better record. Type in PIT for the Steelers, CLE for the Cleveland Browns. Let us know in the comment section. Remember, Steelers fans, you can subscribe at youtube.com/SteelersTV for more free Steelers videos. I'm also on Twitter at WhatGoingDowning.
Talking to the Dog Pound right now, let's end today's video with a classic at the channel. If you know, you know. Spam FPIT in the comments section. If you hate the Pittsburgh Steelers as much as I do, light it up so everyone in Pittsburgh, or I would say a much more colorful name, but Tom and Rest of Chat Sports would get mad at me. Let them know, FPIT, and subscribe to the Browns Report if you're looking for a Browns YouTube channel. Follow me on Twitter, as I cannot wait to retweet every single interception that Mitch Trubisky throws this year when he can't throw to the entire left side of the field, or when they start banging the drum to bring Kenny Pickett in, and you know what? He looks like a bad rookie, which he might end up being. All right, follow me on Twitter. Tom, good luck this season. You're going to need it.
F you. FP.